So right now, what we're going to go through right now is the co-main event, and then we're going to work all the way down from the prelims all the way to the main card. And then from this point, we're going to react to the main event and break down the whole entire card just from this portion alone. So here it goes. In the beginning of the night, we had John Metcalf. And by the way, this is not in any order, okay? And Kevin Khamzat. This is my favorite fight of the night. Obviously, there were a lot of favorable fights of the night, maybe even the main event, and the co-main event wasn't bad as well. But this particular fight right here, I really took favors in terms of the striking. It was a Muay Thai fight, but by the end of it, the volume of Jonathan Metcalf is a lot more superior, and by the end of it all, he got the win and deserved the win. But the volume is what won, and the accuracy is what won, and that was that. So moving on to the next fight of the night. Jubilee getting knocked out in 19 seconds. Okay, 19 seconds by UFC debutant Quinlan Scollin. 19 seconds. Okay, he didn't even throw a single punch. Not even a single punch. One attempt, and then that was that. Just a few shots. That's all that he needed. Done. Next fight, Zoo versus Wrong. One takedown from Cody, constantly trying to take him down, but it wasn't enough. The striking of Zoo was just way too accurate. 51% versus 28%. But it was great. They were brawling in the end, sort of like a Max Holloway and Ricardo Lamas type of situation. Ricardo Lamas. The Lamas guy, you know, and the Justin Gaethje fight, very similar to that. Hold on, let's take a look at the co-main event decision right now. And still, so obviously Weili Zhang won that one, rightfully so. So before we take a look at the rest of the cards, okay, Cody Steele and Zhou Rung, yeah, Zhou Rung deserved that one. Let's take a look at the co-main event first, okay? Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. So the constant takedowns of Tatiana Suarez, it just wasn't enough. Every step of the way, every time Tatiana was trying to create trips, create takedowns, the scrambling of Weili Zhang was just too much, and it was just too much to handle. And as a result of that, it was one of these situations where it showed the levels of championships among champions versus contenders, just the two contrasting difference between them. So great job on Weili Zhang. The ground control time was on her side too. So every time Tatiana tried to trip her, Weili transitioned into a more dominating position for herself, creating that control time. And in the accuracy between them, Tatiana wasn't too far, but the volume on Weili Zhang was just out of this world. So that's the co-main event. Let's take a look at the rest of the cards. Obviously, we have the main event coming up. What else do we have here? What else do we have? We got, how about this? Colby Thickness versus Alexandria Topuria. 5-round decision. Colby wasn't able to get any takedowns off of this guy. The clinch positions were dominant on the part of Topuria. The accuracy in the punches was on Topuria's side. I mean, the boxing was just absolutely amazing, and it showed. But again, this is not indicative of Colby being a bad fighter in any kind of way. In fact, this just showed that he fought probably a top future contender in this division, and we got to witness it right here. And perhaps maybe he can be somebody that would be up there with him later down the line, maybe in the championship type of setting, championship fight, maybe a number one contender, maybe a title eliminator. These guys are going to meet again, just like Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan were supposed to. Wang Kong versus Bruno Silva. Now, I was very surprised of how good Wang Kong was in this fight. I was expecting Wang Kong, honestly, to not show up like this. But she showed up like this. The strikes were hard, they were fast, and the takedowns were accurate. She got the takedown, she got the control time, and she got the accuracy and the volume on top of it. That was all she wrote. Next one, Tom Nolan versus Vyacheslav. Now, Tom Nolan was very good at using a lot of his range in this fight, right? Using a lot of his kicks, just being one step ahead over Vyacheslav. Now, look at the volume that he has here. Wasn't as accurate, but the volume was enough to really cause a disruption in the game of Urshov. That was all that she wrote. Tom Nolan deserved that win, decision win for him. Moving on. Hey, like I said, I predicted there was going to be a lot of decisions in this fight, right? So Jack Jenkins taking on Gabriel Santos. Submission by Gabriel Santos. Out of nowhere, he gets a submission. And I really thought Jack Jenkins was going to ride this one out. I honestly really thought that he had the chance to win this. But he didn't. He didn't. It was a back and forth fight. It was out of nowhere, and Gabriel Santos got the choke and got the win right in the third round. And that was all that she wrote right there. Main card. Jake Matthews taking on Francisco Prado. Now, the boxing of Jake Matthews was the overall story. The accuracy. The accuracy was allowing him to control the pace of the fight, and look at the volume. He put on a lot of volume. There were no takedown attempts on Jake. There was one attempt, like 6 attempts by Prado. He got Jake one time, but this was Jake's fight to win. The accuracy, the aggression. Jake got this one. Curious to see what he does right after this, but this is a good win for Jake, and it would have been a great win for Francisco as well. But Francisco is very young. He's 22 years old. He's sort of in the same position that Jake Matthews was when he came into the UFC. He was 19 years old, one of the youngest guys in the roster, and now he's an 11-year veteran. I can picture Francisco being that same guy, having longevity in the UFC and having the type of longevity where he pretty much is now a UFC veteran after 10 years. He's going to be in the UFC for a long time. This is not a loss that he should be discouraged by, but great on Jake Matthews nonetheless. Moving on. We got Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo. Now, this is a draw. Am I mad at it? Not really. Obviously, the volume was on the side of Jimmy Crute. The takedown was on the side of Rodolfo. It could have gone either way. Look, in any given night, it is really about who the judges are and who shows up that night. And you know what? Whoever the judges were that night, we just happen to score that as a draw. I tell you what, settle this in a rematch in a bigger card, maybe in a main card of some sort, maybe in the next Australia card, a next New Zealand card, or maybe a Middle Eastern card or the next Brazilian card. Whatever card is up next, these two guys need to settle this once and for all. Great fight nonetheless. Here we are. So Justin Tafa taking on Talis Teixeira. 35 seconds, not really a lot to go by right here. Right, front kick by Talis in the beginning of the fight. Gets a clinch position. Knees to the body. After that, follows up with an elbow. Finishes Justin Tafa. That was all she wrote. Justin Tafa didn't even throw a single punch. And then on top of that, he protested that whole entire fight. And again, it is up to the referee's discretion and what they think is safe and what isn't. Well, now we got Weili Zhang taking on Tatiana Suarez. We just saw that fight. We broke it down. And again, no matter what she was going to do, it wasn't going to help. The biggest weapon that Tatiana Suarez had going into this fight was her takedowns. And every time that she tried to take her down, it didn't help. It was nothing. It was like that. Nothing. Nothing. She couldn't do anything. Every time she took her down, she went and out-scrambled her and got back on her feet. and even took her. Well, she didn't take her down. There was one time she took her down. I don't know if you should count that as a takedown, but it is what it is. Obviously, it was because of the missteps that she took while she was going for these trips. But ultimately, it led to Weili Zhang being able to gain top control and top position and control time on top of it, which ultimately is what won her the fight. So, congratulations to Weili Zhang. Look, Tatiana Suarez, just like what I said in the Prado fight with Jake Matthews, she's very talented. She can take this loss and look at what she needs to improve to move to that next level of being a championship fighter. Because right now, the staple and the status quo of the women's 115 division is Weili Zhang. And we found out why. We found out what it is that makes her that. And Tatiana has to adapt in order to become champion at some point. So that is what we got right now. Right now, we are on the verge of watching the main event, and we're going to break down this main event while we are watching the main event as well. So, the main event of this evening. He says he does nothing right, but it always works out. That's quite an interesting assessment by Sean Strickland there. And he's kind of right. He does nothing right, but you know what? It always works out, right? What does he mean by that? Well, what he means by that is that Dricuss Duplessis is a very sloppy fighter. But the reason why he's sloppy is because he trains hard. He trains under hot conditions, under extreme conditions of the weather or whether the situation, like for example, tased while training. So that means he's not going to look like a technical fighter because the way that he fights is based on reacting to survival mechanisms such as adrenaline. And sometimes the lack of control of adrenaline can be good and can be bad. But now here comes Sean Strickland walking out right now, just as we are going to break down this main event in the future while reacting to it live. And Sean Strickland's choice of music goes dun 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 dun. Now, I would not be surprised if, for whatever reason, maybe Sean gets knocked out in this one. There is a possibility of that. You always have to be cognizant of that reality. So, na 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 na. Now, I got to be honest with you, as I'm looking into Sean's eyes right now with his new look, new mustache, sort of like a crossover between Usyk and Triple H from back in the day, or Stone Cold with no goatee. He looks scared. He looks nervous. But you know what? He always looks like that. He looked like that when he fought Izzy, but he looked great when he fought Izzy. He looked like that against Paulo Costa, but he looked great against Paulo Costa. Well, he looks like this right now. He can easily look good tonight against Dricuss Duplessis, and Dricuss Duplessis is on his way out of the cage right now. Yeah, Sean Strickland all throughout the week was an absolute social media star, right? Anytime he was doing interviews with DC, it was somewhere in the 800Ks. Every time he was doing some sort of podcast with the Nelk Boys or anything like that, he was doing numbers. He was doing numbers everywhere. And then there's Alex Pereira right there in the corner of Sean. Now, a lot of people sort of made a lot of speculation as to what that means with having Sean, having Alex Pereira in the corner of Sean. And many are pointing to the fact that maybe Alex Pereira is building a future fight against Dricuss du Plessis. Looks like Dricuss du Plessis is coming out to some South African folk music of some sort, or maybe some sort of local music that they have there. He's got the South African flag draped around his body. He is walking out into the arena. Welcome to Sydney. And right there, there is the exit that we see, those cars that are parked right there, ready to bring the fighters out when they leave the arena later on. And here comes Dricuss coming through the entrance. Now Dricuss is walking, sort of looking at the crowd, taking the moment in, looking at everybody, holding his flag high up in the air as he is walking down into the cage. Having a little shadow boxing with the flag on his hand. So another thing about Dricuss that I think is worth mentioning is the conditioning program that he often cites, right? Now, look, this conditioning program that Dricuss does is absolutely brutal. Okay, it involves high heat, uh, a lot of shock therapy in terms of being tased if you're not doing a technique correctly. I mean, it is just absolutely out of this world, and I think it's a little bit different than what everybody is doing. So it is a very interesting concept in the way that they train down there in South Africa, and in particular, the team of Dricuss du Plessis. So now here comes Dricuss. He is now stepping into the prep point, the crypto.com prep point. And keep in mind that the winner of this is set to face Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev is going to face the winner of these two. And I would rather see Sean win, but I wouldn't be mad if Dricuss wins. Now, here's the thing. If Dricuss wins, we're going to have a hard fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricuss du Plessis. Okay? Because I think that Dricuss du Plessis can be a very bad matchup for Khamzat. But if it was Sean Strickland, the banter and the trash talking and the promotion going into that fight would absolutely be amazing. The personality of Khamzat and the personality of Sean clashing, and then there's a cultural aspect to it too, because let's be honest, Sean Strickland is pro-Israeli, and Khamzat Chimaev, we don't need to go there. So there's that interesting dynamic. But also, what needs to be understood about this is that any of these two guys can win at any given night. And Any one of these guys can take Khamzat on, and any one of these guys can beat Khamzat, but both of these guys can also get beat by Khamzat. It just all depends on who wins tonight. So if Sean was to win, yes, he goes on to fight Khamzat, but what if he doesn't? Where does he go? Who does he fight next? What about DDP? What if he loses? Where does he go? Who does he fight next? How long does it take for him to come back to the title picture? And how about this also to take into serious consideration? What if this fight goes into a draw tonight? Are we just going to dismiss Sean? Because obviously a draw means that we're going to give it to Dricuss du Plessis, right? Does that mean we just give it to Dricuss and then let him fight Khamzat instead? Maybe. Or are we going to allow them to fight again for a trilogy, which, by the way, leaves Khamzat out? So those are all the questions that we want answered after this fight, after this main event. And we're about to witness it right here. Is it going to look as bloody as the first time? Look at the first time around. Look at this blood. This is from the first fight. This is not from the fight right now, just so you guys know. Okay? Oh, and look, they're back to the black gloves. They are back to the black gloves and no longer the championship gloves. Because notice, Dricuss is not fighting in the black championship gloves. So that's another thing that I've noticed. They usually now, remember, they had the gold gloves for the Islam and the Dustin Poirier fight. And I think that was the first fight that they tried to experiment this on. So now they're back in black. All right, so now Sean Strickland is being announced. And then there's that staff in the left arm of Sean Strickland that a lot of people have been citing all throughout the week. All right, Dricuss du Plessis. Pretoria, South Africa. All right, so here we go. Now, Sean and Dricuss are now facing each other, center of the cage. Mark Goddard is a referee, giving them instructions in the middle of it. Now they are back in the corner. Here's Dricuss du Plessis going down, lowering his level, looking like he's about to signal shooting in. So now we go from the rematch now to this. Okay, the current fight right now that we are watching. So here we go. Round one. Here we go. Now they meet in the center of the cage. 456, 445, 450. Jab by Sean Strickland. Trying to walk Dricuss down while Dricuss is circling around. Nice high kick by Dricuss right there. Dricuss looks like he's looking to finish with Sean. He doesn't look like he's messing around and messing about with Sean. He's looking to try to end this early. But if he wants to keep this standing and potentially get a 5-round decision, he can fight like that too. Because let's make no bones about it. It's not easy to take Sean out. The only man that has really taken Sean out was Alex Pereira. And then right after that, Sean went on to fight as a champion. Oh, nice head kick. Nice switch kick right there by Dricuss. There's another one. Stepping jab right there by Dricuss. Low kick by Dricuss. Get Dricuss parrying these shots right here. There it is. Front kicks by Sean right here. This is what he was looking to do right here was throw some of these front kicks. Low kicks right there by Still Knox. Okay, nice. 1-2 shots right there by Sean. I just have this weird feeling that Dricuss might get a finish here. I don't know why. I just feel it like Sean just has to make one mistake and Duplessis is gonna take him out. Or maybe it could be the other way around. I mean, maybe there's some wrinkles in Sean's game that shows he's got new knockout power. There it is, spinning back kick by Duplessis right there. Misses. Now, the rhythm that uh Sean Strickland is trying to fight on, I feel like Dricuss has a way of offsetting it with a little bit more aggression, a little bit more to his step, just throwing a lot of explosive shots. This is the way that he's trying to offset Sean Strickland right now. See, there's a stepping jab right there with an emphasis of a lot of jumping into the technique. There's a front kick by him, switching stances. Again, you know what he's doing right now? 153, 152 of the first round. He is literally now imitating what Strickland is doing while also mixing it up with his own style and then throwing some spinning back kicks as well right here. Ooh, nice head kick right there by Dricuss Duplessis. Oh, nice. Got 1 minute left into the first round, and so far, very good on the striking of Dricuss Duplessis. He looks like he's really matching the striking that Sean Strickland can do. Like, for example, a lot of front kicks, a lot of jabs. Also, he's mixing in spinning back kicks as well. And then look, he's going for some counter shots right there. And then there's another question mark kick that he's throwing at Sean right here. And there's a nice body shot, body kick right there by Dricuss. Follows it up with a straight right hand. Now switching stances. 20 seconds, 18 seconds, 16 seconds left in the first round. All right, so first round, that is the end of it. I'm going to give that first round to Dricuss Duplessis. The aggression, the counter shots that he took at Sean, and Sean doesn't look hurt. Sean looks like what Sean usually looks like, but a little bit frustrated because he sort of feels like and understands that Dricuss has his number. The corner of Sean Strickland is urging him to throw the leg kicks because it's right there. So look at this. He's standing on his stool. He's standing, both of them are standing with no stool. And he was almost standing midway into the cage just to sort of try and intimidate the space of Dricuss Duplessis. All right, so here we go. Round number two. 453, 452, 450 of the second round. And there it is, a little oblique kick attempt by Dricuss. Both of them having really good check kicks right there. Really good job at lifting that knee up in order for them to prevent any leg kicks from coming in. And there's Dricuss right there with a leg kick from the bottom. There's a front kick by Sean Strickland, typical showing of Sean Strickland to do exactly that. Yeah, good body kick right there by Sean Strickland. I'm sorry, by Dricuss. Now the volume seems to be on the side of Dricuss du Plessis right now. Okay, there's a front kick right there by Sean. Yeah, there's no crazy and reckless actions by Sean Strickland at all. Okay, there's another oblique kick right there to the knee by. Whoa! It's a nice little overhand right there by Sean. Okay, again, very good job of Dricuss to do all these jumping, like just basically jumping right in. Right? He jumps right in and lunges himself into these jabs, and then also maintaining the stance switching while also maintaining the low kicks. So if he's not stance switching, he's throwing low kicks and then mixing those in between, while also emulating and mirroring the style of Sean, like high volume, uh, like 50 to 60% shots with a high volume while also throwing hard kicks. Now it looks like there's blood coming out of Sean's lip, or right underneath his lip, right in his chin is bleeding. That might have been a shot from Dricuss. Now we got about 2 minutes left in the second round. Oh, good one. He just lunged in there. There's another head kick by Dricuss. Yeah, there hasn't been a single takedown attempt in this fight yet. Oh, and there's another high kick by Dricuss. He's doing a very good job at connecting with these high kicks. Oh, spinning back fist right there by Dricuss. Spinning back kick right there by Dricuss. And then there's a low kick right there to follow up. Yeah, Strickland needs to throw more. He's not really throwing a lot, and he's not matching volume of du Plessis. Now, look, these are two high-level guys, and as a result of that, you got to understand that they're going to be neck and neck, right? But what is separating du Plessis here is the volume and the creative shots and creative striking arsenal that he's throwing at Strickland. For example, he's throwing spinning back fists, he's throwing spinning back kicks. On top of that, he's throwing question mark kicks, he's throwing roundhouse kicks, and doing different scenarios that Sean Strickland is just kind of sticking to the meat and potato basics while also sort of really decreasing his volume while du Plessis is increasing his volume. And this is going to affect him in some kind of way, right? All these leg kicks that he's throwing, that has to affect him in some kind of way. And he's doing a very good job of just connecting on Sean right now. There's a body jab right there. Now that is the end of the second round, going into the third round right now. Again, I give 2 rounds up to Dricuss du Plessis right now. And the bleeding on the bottom chin of Sean Strickland's not really helping. It's not the worst. It's not the worst, but it's not good for the judges, right? Because obviously in Canada, when they fought there, they gave the fight to Dricuss du Plessis because of the headbutt. But now look, Sean, he's not sitting down in between the rounds. I don't know if this is because, all right, you know what? You know that this guy has good cardio. Okay, but I got to be honest with you, right? The fact that he is standing after 2 rounds, it kind of shows you that he's not putting up enough volume. And here's another thing, too. I think that if he loses this fight, which he is on the verge of losing it right now, the Australian government, well, the government really has no say, but let's just say the media, or at least the media wing of the government in Australia, they're going to have a lot to say about Sean Strickland, and they're going to stick it to him based on the results of this fight. So Sean Strickland really needs to do something different right now in order to sort of curb the haters. All right, so now Dricuss is continuing on with some different fakes. He's doing a very good job of switching stances, once again, faking, throwing these different kicks. And Sean Strickland is not understanding what Dricuss du Plessis is doing right now and what he's got going on. Now Sean looks like he's starting to get frustrated. Now he's starting to go wild and crazy just with a few of those exchanges there. There's a leg kick right there by Dricuss as he's backing away. 4 minutes left. 3:59, 3:57, 3:56. Oh, nice one right there. Good exchange right there by Dricuss. There it is, just lunging right in there. Lunging right in with the hook. He's lunging a hook right in while using a jab to enter that space. Very interesting movement by Dricuss. Nice body kick by Dricuss right there. Oh, there's a nice 1-2 shot by Sean right there. He needs to have a little bit more of that. But right now, Dricuss du Plessis is absolutely leading the dance. There's an oblique click right there. Ooh, spinning back fist connects right on Sean. And that is the unorthodox movements of still knocks. Just covering different angles, different sections, circling around and giving different angles and different looks on Sean Strickland. And again, doing that lunging hook once again while switching stances at the same time. It's very brilliant striking to where Sean Strickland's not seeing any of this coming. Continuing this rinse and repeat performance because Sean is so predictable with what he does. It's so basic that the unorthodox movements and a constant stance switches and a constant different looks that Still Knox is given is really frustrating Sean right now. And Sean doesn't really know what to do other than what Sean knows how to do best. And sometimes what Sean knows how to do best is often, ooh, there it is, spinning. Wow, man, he caught him with a spinning elbow at the end of the third round, and there it is. They're swinging away right there, daring Sean to swing with him. We're about to enter the championship rounds right now. Ooh, how about that? Sean caught him with that one. Oh, how about this? There's a takedown. There is a takedown by Dricuss, and he gets it. He shot the takedown right at the end. You know what this reminds me of? When George St. Pierre fought Jake Shields, what George St. Pierre did was take Jake Shields down literally at the end of the round, maybe somewhere in the like last 20 seconds. Because if he got him down, at least in the last 20 seconds, he would not have enough time to work for a submission. And that is the reason why George did not want to take him down too early in the fight, which I think is a absolutely brilliant strategy if you think about it. There it is, Dricuss with that cross. And then there's a cross of Strickland's own. There's the spinning back fist right there that he connects right on Sean. And then about this, there's an elbow right there, right on Sean's side head and into his ear. And there's Sean standing in between the rounds again. All right, championship rounds coming up, boys. All right, here we go. So we got about 436, 435, 433 to sink in what I'm looking at right here. And what I'm looking at is once again the same motion from Sean, nothing really different, while still knocks, still switching stances every second he makes, every second he takes. His whole entire prerogative is to be as unpredictable as possible. And not only that, hard to read, which is exactly what Still Knox is doing. And Sean has to react to everything that he does. Whereas in most fights and in other fights, what Sean does is literally have other people react to him as sort of the bully. But look at this. He rocked Sean with that shot right there. Oh, he just rocked Sean. What is this? Is he looking to finish Sean right now? Sean is hurt badly. Sean is holding on to his nose right now. Sean is busted up in his nose right now. He is holding on. Is he going to finish Sean right now? There is a good chance he's going to finish Sean. Sean's nose is busted up. He might have just busted Sean's nose. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true, man. If he does try to wrestle with a busted up nose like this, he is going to have to drive the nose into the body. He really busted his nose up right here. He really felt that as soon as Sean Strickland took that hit. Wow, man. Sean Strickland is busted up right now, but he's still fighting on. And as a result of fighting on with a busted nose, you know that a lot of people are going to say, oh, Sean is so tough for this. Sean is so tough. But for Dricuss to stop all that noise, he really needs to put an end to Sean right now. He really needs to end Sean out of this planet right now and take advantage of this busted nose and this compromised situation that Sean is in, especially in the state that Sean is in right now. Ooh, there's another spinning attack attempt, and he's trying to hound Sean down. Sean is trying to reset back into his homeostasis. But it's very difficult for him to recover with just less than 60 seconds left into the fourth round right now. And we literally have 6 minutes left into this whole entire contest. Oh, wow. There's a 1-2 shot right there, and he pushes him back. I'm curious to see if his corner is going to stop this in between the rounds. I have a feeling they might. Nice body shot, body jab right there by Dricuss. So we got about 8 minutes left. There's an overhand right by Sean himself. Right. That's the end of the round right there. Look at the busted up nose of Sean Strickland right now. Eric Nixick in between fourth and the fifth round right now is telling him that you need to finish him, right? You need to throw some elbows. You need to throw some shots. You need to throw caution to the wind. And then here's a replay of Dricuss putting it on Sean. And then Sean just reacting to that nose getting busted up with that straight shot right to his nose. He said, I needed to take chances. I needed to take risks. Yeah, this is 4-0 Dricuss going into the fifth round right now. There is no doubt about that. Absolutely 4-0 Dricuss. And this is one of those Leon Edwards, Usman situations that Sean Strickland really needs to do. He needs to pull off something similar to that. And Eric Nixick is telling him to throw caution to the wind. He's telling him to throw caution to the wind, but that's not what he wants to do. Yeah, man, this is a very bad fight for Sean Strickland right now. It could get worse if Dricuss continues to connect. Oh, he misses with that spinning kick right there and then throws a spinning kick again. Now, it is interesting he decided to throw two spinning back kicks right there all at once, right? And the reason why that's interesting is because I don't usually recommend that, only because the element of surprise is gone once you try and throw it the second time, right? But Sean Strickland is so messed up right now that Dricuss felt like it was easy to take that risk. And then here he is continuing once again with the stance switching back and forth, now going into the body out of nowhere. low kick by Dricuss. And right now, this first fight that they had is literally nothing compared to the fight that we are seeing right now. Like, this is clear as day that it is Dricuss that won this. And another way that Dricuss can sort of solidify this is get a takedown with the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this fight. He gets that, he can solidify it. But you know what? He probably doesn't even need that anymore, because what he needs right now is just to survive this fight. And he already won this. He got this 4 in zip. But does he want to continue on and sort of end any controversy? Because if you had any doubts from the first fight, we now understand who the better fight is. I mean, you can argue and say, hey, you know what? Sean sort of won that fight, but I still think that Dricuss is better. Or I'm not going to use that fight as an indicator to see who is better or not. But you look at this fight, you really are seeing who's better. Sean is being exposed as a one-trick pony here. And it just so happens that he was a bad style matchup for Izzy, and it was perfect for him to swoop in there and get the win. So with just 1 minute and 30 seconds left of this fight, we got to wonder, what is next for Stillnox? Is he going to go in there and is he going to fight Alex Pereira? What about Sean Strickland? Is he going to become a gatekeeper, former champion in the 185 division? Only time will tell. Or is he going to? Is Dricuss going to continue to fight the top contenders? There's a nice head kick right there that he just connected on the bloody face of Sean. We got 30 seconds left into this fight, and there is no doubt that Dricuss du Plessis has this one won and right into the bank. All right, and that is the end of the fight. An easy win for Dricuss du Plessis. We just broke down that whole entire fight, along with the rest of the card, along with everything that this card had to offer. So, everybody around the world, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's wait and take a look at and see the official judge's decision on this one, which is going to Dricuss in any kind of way. We don't need to go into that. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. On to the next topic, on to the next content, on to the next live stream and videos, inshallah.